I did have a paranormal experience in my room. Yes. I don't know if I told you I had sexual relations with a ghost.
You
Um,
didn't tell me about this.
it's you don't kiss and tell. You try not to, but maybe if they fuck up my glasses, I don't know if you can see the scratches, the vertical scratches on my glasses. Then it's all all bets are off. I'm gonna kiss and tell. Yes, I slept with a ghost. We didn't do much sleeping, if you know what I'm talking about. But they ruined my glasses, and these are, and it's I guess apropos because it is. I did sleep with a ghost, and these are ghost hunting glasses. I'm sure they were pretty angry that they found out I was a ghost hunter. I didn't really disclose that. That's not really a first date kind of thing I talk about.
Yeah. So how'd it go? How was it?
Um,
I mean, like, what was your experience? I don't mean to be crass, and I know that this is a show, a very serious
right.
platform that we're speaking on. So, mainly as an investigator, I want to know, like, how was it?
It's everything you'd want it to be and more. The scene in Ghost, the movie with Patrick Swayze, where he envelops her while they're making a clay sculpture that they eventually just discard. It's like that, except imagine if Patrick Swayze was 400 pounds and he used all of his body mass and enveloped you. It was the kind of pressure and weight of I'm not sure what kind of ghost I encountered, but it was a large presence. And people say when they feel a ghost coming or a spirit, the bed will kind of depress. It'll fall down a little bit. Mine nearly crashed through the ground when I felt that ghost get on the bed. It nearly crumbled. If I had a water bed, it would have pierced, and I would have been drowning in water, truly. And I'm actually kind of glad we spoke about this because water beds, guys, what the hell were you thinking? You're sleeping on ghosts, and the only thing protecting you is like a little piece of plastic. Uh, I'm glad that's not really in fashion anymore because if I had a waterbed, then I would have drowned that night from the ghost pounding away at me. And that's the other thing too, guys. I did not have much say in the way that the ghost liked to sleep with people. So it was a very commanding ghost. It was a very, but overall it was a nice experience because at the end of the day, I felt a kiss right on my cheek. My hair was tousled a little bit, and then the covers went over me, and it tucked me in. So that was kind of nice. It was romantic in that way, but like I said, it was very large. Everything was very large. If you know what I'm talking about. So, um, I would say only if you are an experienced ghost hunter, or have had this experience before, you won't know what it feels like until you feel it. So, I don't have his number, and him or her or they or them, I'm not sure what kind of ghost it was, but I wouldn't recommend it because they end up messing up your ghost hunting gear. I got ectoplasm on me, and that was, I figured, normal experience, but they ruined my glasses. So I'm not happy with that, but overall, I guess the actual pounding away, that was nice. So that's my evidence. That's my personal evidence. Other people have different stories, but that's mine. And I've heard that there was a woman who slept with a pirate ghost, some kind of pirate. She was on a cruise and happened to be in the same water as a pirate in his life, and so he got to sleep with her, and I guess that was supposed to be nice. I think they got married.
Mm. Yeah. So your sex life doesn't end when your body is gone.
No.
They say sex is a very spiritual experience. So it makes sense that ghosts can cross over to that very unique physical yet spiritual connection happening at the same time. That's really beautiful. Is there anything that people should look out for, Gio? Like in terms of, when did you know that this started happening to you? Do you think there was anything that brought this on?
Yeah. And, you know, they say you put intention out there in the world and it comes back to you, you know, you want something so bad. So I had been watching this movie, Casper, and there was something about one of the uncles, the big one. Do you remember that guy? I thought about him, and I was looking at him, and I thought to myself, you know, I wonder what he's like in you know, in real life. I could take him on, right? I thought that to myself. I could take on that ghost, because if you see in the movie, the dad uses a vacuum cleaner and just sucks him up, and it's as easy as that. And he sucks him up so nice and clean that there's no mess. And I thought I could suck him up as easy as that. I could suck him up faster even. So I think is the hubris, me challenging the universe that I could suck up that fat ghost as fast as the Bill Pullman did. And you know, I'm not experienced. I wasn't on set during that movie. I didn't see the presence. I only felt it, and it was big. Like I said, it was very large. But Bill Pullman did it like a pro, and I thought I could do it just as easy. And it's a lot harder than it looks. I'll tell you that.
I mean, there's only one Bill Pullman, as we all know. So, I mean, his name also, you break that down, Pull Man. Like, of course, he's going to be able to pull up that ghost. That's his namesake. That's what he has been put on this earth to do, is to suck up ghosts. And he was also in an environment surrounded by a crew that, you know, even though Casper is a friendly ghost, it is always good to practice good ghost safety on set. And obviously, you know, if you have Bill Pullman on set, you're in good hands. So
yeah, and I thought I was as good as him, and I'm not, and I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Gio, I wish you would have, yeah, and I wish you would have, you know, perhaps called me, and you know, I at least could have been there with you virtually. But you know, I've also just recently have come back from my second lobotomy, so you know, I apologize that I wasn't able to be there for you. But you know, there's things that we all have to take care of as well, and that for me at that time was the lobotomy.
Wow. And this is something that we're going to talk about. Welcome to the week of Ghost in the Scene, guys. I know it's been a while, and I know we're in some weird places, and we'll explain that. But we're getting this transmission out to you guys because we needed you to know that we're still alive, we're still out here, and in fact, we are thriving. It may not look like it, but we are thriving. So last week, we recorded an episode with special guest Rashid Custer, and there was some difficulties. We were hacked. I think it had a lot to do with the content that we were talking about that day. And that's why I don't really want to bring it up, because we could be hacked again. So, Rob, you talked about how last week you got a lobotomy.
Yes.
And this was a big life decision for you. You had a lot of consultations. We talked about this, whether it was good or bad, and ultimately you decided that it was the right thing to do. So can you explain your experience and why you had to get a second lobotomy?
It was all because of this hack and breach, because as soon as you're lobotomized, you're in a very weakened state, as you can imagine. You have a chunk of your brain ripped out from you. And I know sounds shocking to a lot of you, but it is just, and I don't recommend everyone get a lobotomy. You know, it should be really a last end, not minute. You should really plan for it. A last, you know, course of action. I was possessed the week prior by a spiteful demon. It wouldn't give us a lot of information. I still don't know who or what that demon was, but it had a grip in my cerebral cortex, and we just had to go in there and grab that bit and pull it out. And if you're in a situation where you need to get a ghost out of your brain, get a lobotomy. And from our from our last show, you know, we've never had, you know, we've had breaches on the show. You know, you can go back to our archives and you can hear And for those of you who have been listening for some time, you've heard the truth. You know that people of high powers are constantly trying to break into our stream and silence us. I mean, I think we learned a very valuable lesson last week in what we were speaking of. And I hope to come back later and be able to speak. You know, I know we will speak on this topic at one time, but we will do so responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the responsible thing for me to do to get a second lobotomy. So I'm broadcasting for you all today. I just got this lobotomy. The bandages are fresh on my forehead, and I've been drinking a lot of Jello, not eating but drinking it.
The doctor told you to drink the Jello?
I don't remember. I'm just drinking Jello at this point.
Interesting. And hopefully there's some nutrients in that Jello that they're giving you. I know there's a lot of brain that your brain has to replace. You know, I think you're right in removing parts of your brain to get out of possessions. I think that's a very smart decision because they can no longer go back into that part of your brain. You know, I mean, and then here's what I think though. I think that there has to be some kind of replacement. You know, unless you don't, you know, you intend to mine your entire brain, at some point the ghost will have won. So there has to be some kind of brain replacement. That's why Ghost in the Scene is looking for a sponsor for brain pills. I know there's a lot of people out there that are selling snake oil, fake ass brain shit. We want the real deal. Brain replacement pills. Hopefully they look like little brains. That way we have the confidence that they are actually working. So if anybody has any connect on that, we need Rob to grow some of his brain back. And we need to make sure that it's ghost friendly and it's also gluten free. So there's a lot of exceptions that we need to make sure that we don't fall into.
I mean, that's why I've been drinking all the Jello too. It has like the same consistency of brain. And you know, I'm trying some homemade recipes as well. So when you can, you know, do it yourself, folks. There's so many things out there that you can just like pick up from the ground, rub it, make it into an oil, shoot it up
turn
your
it into
nose,
Jello. Yeah,
turn it into Jello.
And you know, Ghost in the Scene, we're always thinking about the future, and so we're going to be having a one of a kind, Rob's only Jello blended recipe. So Jello drinkers
Brain
out
replacement,
there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Rob's brain replacement drink, and it's going to be Jello that you drink, and we'll have a whole Instagram series based on the different kind of drinks that he's made that helps him recover parts of his brain that he lost. Because you know the problem that I've had with doctors in the past, when you get something removed, they don't let you keep it when it's your body, and yet you know I've had teeth removed, and they've told me, oh no, I'm sorry, you know, that's ours now. Sorry, sucker. You know, you signed up, and the signature said that we get to keep your teeth. So and you know, that kind of stuff is voodoo laden. They can do whatever they want with parts of your body, and who knows what they're doing with it. So that is scary. And so when they remove parts of your brain, they could just be adding it to a larger brain pile. And if you think about it, everybody who's getting lobotomized these days probably is haunted. And so they're taking haunted bits of brain, and they could be collecting it into a larger haunted brain somewhere out there. I'm not sure where that is. I'm not sure if it's happening, but we live in a multiverse. That means that it is happening somewhere. And the fact that it's happening anywhere is a step too far for me. You know what I'm saying?
And the fact that you're concerning bits of the body that are connected with the spiritual realm, which can gravitate between multiple different universes. So the fact that even if it's not happening in our universe, these brains are still being harvested. And, you know, part of the way to do that, to fight against this, is on an individual level, is just having good brain health. You know, have a healthy brain. Have a good brain, everybody.
Yeah, and you won't have to get lobotomized, or
And
you'll
if you do, just like know the steps to healing that brain, because you're creating a hole as well. And sometimes that hole can be filled by even more ghosts, which is why I had the second lobotomy, folks. All right. Like not a, this isn't like getting a flu shot or anything.
hmm
It's not easy.
it's
It's
not as
painful.
easy.
You
Yeah.
even get sick sometimes when you get the flu shot. So it's the same thing, but it's, think of that, but on such a larger scale, because it has to do with your brain, folks.
Wow. And so thank you for being able to come to us with that information and to be at the hospital still recovering. And I'm sure you're in a pretty clearly hyper cognitive state right now. You are speaking at such a high level and with such force and authority that you seem to be recovering better than you were before. I didn't want to say you were haunted before or that you had, but sometimes you would say stuff that was a little questionable. And now I can tell there's no quiver in your voice. It's solid. It's present. I love seeing you this way, Rob.
It's all in the jello, Gio.
Wow. That's a t-shirt right there, guys. So we're going to be selling once we find a sponsor for Brain Pills. So Brain Pills in the front, and the back is going to say it's all in the jello, Geo, because just for the way that it rhymes. Wow. This is beautiful. I'm glad. And, let me explain, guys, where I am. I'm all about positivity today because I'm in a very dark place, and positivity is something that I need. So I am in a sewer under Comedy Central headquarters at the roast of Alec Baldwin. It happened a few days ago. And what I've been doing is I know for a fact that everybody in there took a dump because, Comedy Central headquarters has very nice heated toilet covers. And so, and they take the 10-ply toilet paper, the thick kind, and they use that. So people, it's luxurious. So I've been sifting through everybody's feces. Now, guys, it's not a pretty sight. I'm glad you don't have smell-o-vision where you are.
Or if you're just listening to audio, I know the stench is still stretching to you, but bear with us on this one.
Yeah, Alexander Ray Baldwin. Here's what I've learned so far. He likes hot dogs. I counted at least 5 separate sausages in his stool. At least 5 separate sausages. That means he had 5 hot dogs in the last time that he pooped from the roast. Now, what I'm considering is they have an actual barbecue before the roast. And he went a little crazy. He was nervous, so he had 5 hot dogs. That could be it. Or there could be something more nefarious. And that's why I've been down here. I've been analyzing. And then, of course, there's other people. Jeff Ross, he's the roast master, right? And he had nothing but peanut butter in his stool. It was 98% peanut butter. So I'm not sure what he's doing, and I'm not sure if that's the way he prepares, but it was nothing but peanut butter. So we have no jelly, no bread, nothing, just peanut butter. So this is a mystery that is waiting to be solved. Nobody even knew there was something happening. Caitlyn Jenner, nothing but milk and soy. Milk and soy.
Not soy milk, but separately milk and soy.
Soy. Exactly. So what they're doing is
insanity.
They're chugging milk and then eating soy and making their own soy milk. Right? And this is not a scandal. Nobody knows this. So, guys, this may not be a pretty sight, but this is necessary. And this is what being in the scene means. So I'm going to be down here for the next few days. There's still more people that I have to look through. Robert De Niro had a whole grapevine in his stool, not even digested. There was still grapes. And since, of course, it's been a few days, I had to wash off the grapevine, and I did eat a few grapes.
How were they?
They were good. They were good quality. and preserved. And, I think part of his stool preserved some of the grapes, and so some of them were still crunchy, kind of sour, so they were good. So I mean, it's not all negative down here. We know that De Niro's eating good grapes, and we know.
Or producing them in some way.
Whoa. Now we're fucking talking, Rob. Yes. What if he's making grapes in his stomach? Okay. Well, I mean, there's still more that I have to check down here. I'm not done with all of his grapes, so maybe I'll bring one back for you, and then we can analyze it, see if it has De Niro's DNA inside the grape. That's interesting. And if we has a seed, maybe we could plant the grape and see if like De Niro comes out. A young De Niro.
Obviously, much more research to be had here and to stay in the scene for.
Absolutely. So the roast, I'm sure, went well. I heard a lot of laughing. Not many toilet flushes during the actual roast. So I'm guessing that nobody went to the toilet during that point. So that's good. So down here, there's some ghosts that I've had to deal with, which is why I brought all my equipment down here. And I have to say, being away from the scene has really weakened my abilities. There's something about the power of community that I've missed. And so I think we have to really bring our evidence to the people, or else we start, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's the saying. We have to start using our clout a little bit more. We have to start using our expertise. When I was touched by a ghost, that was months ago. That was when I was less experienced. And I'll be nice to myself and say that. I have the evidence that Alexander Ray Baldwin eats 5 hot dogs, the third, and eats 5 hot dogs in a single sitting. Now that has to be paranormal.
It also just makes me think about our last published episode when we were talking about Kevin Smith and his hot dogs, his Nazi hot dogs.
Yes, the Bratzies.
No wonder, the Bratzies. And I was wondering if in his stool, did you notice any evidence of Bratzies or anything similar? If there's Bratzies, why aren't there like, commie dogs or
oh my God,
XYZ,
I didn't want to say it. I was waiting to release it in my dissertation to become a doctor, but I did find a miniature hammer and sickle in his stool.
Get out.
And it's so tiny that I can't even show it on screen. Let me. It's right there. Can you see it?
Holy shit. With my glasses,
Right. You can kind of see it.
Yes.
It's so small.
As soon as I remove them, it's like it disappears.
Yeah. If you guys don't have special glasses, you guys won't be able to see what's on my hand. But there is a tiny hammer and sickle that I took from Alexander Ray Baldwin III's stool, containing 5 hot dogs. So yes, this is a continuation of the Kevin Smith Bratzy, and this is it being brought to reality. And I had to come to the Comedy Central headquarters just to find this. So there's evidence all around you guys. And if you guys haven't spent a week in a sewer, you're doing it wrong. You're living life wrong. There is evidence down here.
How can you, right? I mean, that's where everything flows through the sewers at some point. So if you don't know what's going on in the depths, how can we possibly see the heights?
Exactly. You could climb a tree and learn a lot, right? Peeping Toms, people that spy with drones, people that, have airplanes and they have binoculars, they look down and stuff. That's from a height perspective, you could have a great vantage point.
They've seen a lot.
Exactly. But what's under the surface? Everyone talks about going deep, going low. What is lower than the sewer? Scientists will tell you there's the crust, there's the mantle, there's the inner core. Metaphysicists will tell you there's the atom, there's the neutron, electron. I'm going to tell you the sewer's it. That's as low as it goes. for Ghost in the Scene, it's the sewer, and then there's hell. Okay, and then there's the spirit world, and I mean, there's a lot to it. But that's in the heights. You go higher, you go above to find the spirit realm. To go below, there's the sewer, and then there's hell. So here I am in the sewer, and you put your ear to the water, to the dirty, shitty water, and you could hear the screams. I didn't want to say that. That's also my dissertation. You could hear the screams of people crying. That's definitely the river Styx, right? It leads to hell. So there's a lot of symbolism down here. There's a lot of strange rats, rodents that have carved out their little niche down here. And so I've been making friends with them. I've been making friends, and it's kind of the TMNT, the Ninja Turtle kind of vibe. Some of them have learned English. Some of them only know French Canadian. So the language barrier is hard. But I understand what they mean when they say that they're hungry, that kind of stuff. So we've been getting along. We've been eating some grapes together. I've been sharing, and that's what the community is all about. That's what I've been missing in the Ghost in the Scene team. So, I think it's time we unveil the rest of the team, to the world, because we've had so many people consulting with us. And of course, we had Rashid come in and the tragedy of getting hacked. So I think it's time that we bring some people into the fray and show, the world that we're not afraid anymore, that we're going to have all of our cards on the table. You have doctors that lobotomized you, Rob, and I'm sure that they want to tell their tale. You're psychiatrist, you're psychic. We still have people working in CNN, and they're covering all kinds of stuff. So I want to really show people, the Ghost in the Scene family, what we're capable of and how far our actual hand stretches into the world,
Right, because at the end, this show, we're only the hosts of this show. You see us and you hear us the most, but really this show is so much larger than just us two, and it's time that is presented, and there's so much energy involved in that is part of the reason why we haven't been able to do so to begin with. But now, fresh off a new lobotomy, after Gio's good work in the sewers, and countless others, like we said, doctors, street team, developers, crunching the numbers, making our firewalls safe so we can not just bring us, but all of our guests, not really guests, it's the family, the Ghost in the Scene family, the team, you could say, and all of you. And we're going to bring you, yes, you who are listening right now, we're going to bring you closer as well, because you are 100% just as involved as anyone else. You're putting your spirit into this show, and we feel that. All right, we're with you on this.
Yeah. So until next time, guys, we want you to stay safe, stay in the scene. I'm gonna get out of the sewers in a few days once I sift through everything here, and I'll bring back some more evidence. And Rob, I hope you recover safely, and you put your legs up and see there's some stirrups in the back. So you put your legs in those stirrups and kind of relax. You need a break. Your brain needs to recover.
I will. I got some VHS tapes that Mark inspected. Mark the horse made sure he gave me his personal collection, actually. So thank you, Mark, for your personal VHS collection that I am watching with my legs up, slurping on some Jellos. Just real sneak peek on that. Mint is really good to put in it.
Ooh, refreshing. I love it. Well, take care, and we will see you next time with hot news, hot investigations, hot takes, and even hotter ghosts. Because that large ghost that I met, that's not the only one, if you know what I'm talking about. So, until next time, guys, stay in the scene.
Keep those eyes on the screen.
All right, take care.